I've been a little distracted lately. I've got a lot going on in my life and the distractions just keep piling up. I was diagnosed with ADHD kind of later in the game. I was 36 when I was clinically diagnosed or whatever with both types of ADHD. And I don't know, there's like 9 indicators or whatever, and I had like 8 of them. I don't remember all that. Doesn't really matter. It's not who I am. It's just something that I have to reckon with, as it were. And that's just one piece of this video. I've tried medication and things like that, and the cons really kind of outweighed the pros for me. They would give me like maybe 20 or 30 minutes of like extra focus, and then it would just give me jitters, and then I would crash and I'd be really tired. Almost like a really bad caffeine, like up and then a caffeine crash kind of vibe, which as someone who loves coffee, I'd rather just have a cup of coffee than do that. No shame to anyone out there that does use medication and it's been helpful for them. Probably once a year, I'll have a moment like this where I kind of question everything. I doubt everything in my life. It's probably a very natural thing. I'm sure it is. I'm sure you've had moments like these too. For me, it's right now. And I am kind of questioning, am I doing the right work in my life? Am I focusing the right energy on the right priorities in my life? Am I accomplishing the work that I want to be known for? And I realize that sentence sounds so pretentious. I don't mean it to be. I just want to be known for making good art, or I don't know, leaving things better than when I found them. Another habit that I want to try to shake is my dependence on dopamine to get through my day. I personally avoid hard conversations. If I become bored with a task, it's very hard for me to finish it. And that is true of everything. Any project that I start in my life, if I don't finish it quickly, there's a good chance that I will fizzle out as far as interest. And if you aren't aware, like ADHD gives you this like hyper focus, right? For like certain moments and certain things. It's like laser focus, right? But the moment you lose interest in something, it is very hard to muster up that focus again. And so I've learned of myself, especially with the line of work that I do with like video and work for other clients, that if I don't like really attack a project very quickly after a shoot, I can kind of lose track of that. Not like I leave them out to dry or anything, but it's just I don't complete the tasks that I want to as quickly, and usually it becomes a grind for me to get back into that and do it. And at the end of the day, you have to get your work done, right? So sometimes you just have to just buckle up and do it. But in other areas of my life, things like this YouTube channel, like no one's expecting me to post anything except for myself. And this is just one of the many things in my life that I care to put some more time into. I naturally avoid hard conversations. When things get difficult in my life, I spend too much time on the things that don't matter, basically. I just need a time to refocus some of my priorities, to gain insight and to have some more inspiration in my life. I'm going to try to stick with you along the way. And if you want to support me as a creator, I'm going to give a little plug here for a moment. So feel free to fast forward. And that is just of my Patreon. Historically, I've been even not a great Patreon creator. I've neglected the people that support me on there. The cool thing is there are people that still support me on there regardless of if I'm a great creator on there or not. I'm not trying to beg anybody for money or anything, but I am going to shift my focus as far as like responding to comments and things like that off of this platform for the most part. Really kind of give extra attention and love to people on that platform. And I'm not trying to gatekeep anything. In fact, if you really want to get a hold of me, I'm going to put my email address on the screen because I don't feel like if you have money or you're giving something to me that you should have, precedence. But I'm just going to try to take my attention off of comments on this channel because they distract me. Not the comments themselves. Like, please send your comments. I really appreciate it. And if I get the chance to get on there, I'll respond. But for me, when I am responding to those comments, that's when my mind can just wander off. And that's when I can get distracted. So if you would like to support me as a creator, because that's another, honestly, a thing that I don't really want to share super all in depth, but there's just some financial goals in my life that I want to get through. And I'm not talking about like making $1 million. I'm talking about like paying taxes, things like that. Like just trying to get by, being on this freelance journey. There's just things that have gotten more difficult that I've got to reckon with. And so if you want to help me in that way, I appreciate it. Not expecting anything from anyone. And this is not a Sarah McLachlan moment. This is just me being honest. And really the purpose of this video is not to gain support in that way. It's to share kind of where my head's at. All of this kind of intro is leading up to what I'm going to be doing, which is a digital reset. I've got some rules I want to share with you. And if this sounds interesting to you, you might want to consider something like this for yourself. Maybe not right now, but when inevitably you have this season in your life where it's time to reflect, it's time to kind of refocus. Feel free to use this as a template to work off of. So rule number one cup of coffee per day, which I've got about 2 drips left in this. There it goes. So that's my coffee for the day. That kind of sucks. 2, my computer is for editing client projects and for editing these YouTube videos, which I'm going to try to do a lot more work on the front end of writing and planning out these videos before I hit record to mitigate the amount of editing that's needed. And then also the computer is for posting new YouTube videos. Again, I'm going to try almost exclusively to stay out of the comments and not get distracted by the notifications. Not because I don't appreciate you guys, but just for this season, taking a kind of a back seat from a lot of this content on the internet. Number 3, no Netflix, no Disney Plus, Hulu, Paramount, Prime, etc. I've been meaning to cancel all this crap anyways. I'm going to keep my library card. Default activities will be reading, journaling, writing, unless a group activity demands a brief pause from this. So yeah, I guess if I get invited to go do laser tag or something with a group, I will pause that rule. And then I'm going to tell you my list of approved tools, things that I'm going to use in this time period that are okay. Number 1 is Final Cut Pro, which is my editing software that I use. 2 is my calendar, because I have a shared calendar with my wife, and my son also has access to that calendar, though he doesn't use it for some reason. 3 is my bullet journal. I heard someone say the other day that no one's going to remember your digital files. Digital notes are cool, but there's something about writing your thoughts down on a piece of paper that has something more finite and infinite. No, that's not the right word either. Something more lasting and committed, if you will, at least for me. 4, my remarkable 2, which sounds like a complete step away from point number 3, but I actually do use this to annotate PDFs, especially for one of the jobs that I work in my videography business. I do legal videography. So in that process, I have a lot of paperwork that I have to fill in and keep track of. And paper makes me a little nervous because I could accidentally leave a paper somewhere at a coffee shop or something, and God forbid someone get a hold of that, like that sensitive information. But with this, even if I were to leave this somewhere, someone would have to hack into this to get to it, and I could just remotely delete it, whatever. So That's why I'm going to keep using the Remarkable 2 for annotating PDFs. Number 5 on my approved tools list is my typewriter, which is my favorite tool by far. There's something about using this thing where there's like, you know it too. If you've ever journaled before or told a story or talked to someone or just meditated even, and you can hear that voice inside of you, which part of that is belief in a higher power and hearing that voice. And then also there's definitely a voice, your own voice inside of you. And when I use my typewriter, I can tap into that a lot easier than normal. 6 is my Light Phone 3, which is upstairs on the fridge. I have all of the tools on my Light Phone. I've got calendar, notes, podcasts, music, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to remove everything on there except for phone, directions, and directory, which is just, directory is just how you look up where a business is located. And then directions is obviously directions. Podcasts aren't distracting necessarily, but for me, they can distract me from listening to my own voice, or it can be for me a tool to avoid facing different things and avoid deeply connecting. I forgot to say that tool number 7, which is the cameras that I use for work and making these videos. I need those. So the biggest probably part of this video that you're probably wondering, or maybe you don't care, maybe you've already left, and that is the why and the goals of this, and then the purpose of this. So like, what's the why? 1 is very plainly looking for some mental and spiritual clarity. That's pretty self-explanatory. 2, to spend more time in the real and offline world. 3, to get more done. I've been reading this, and it's a good book, and when I say get more done, I don't mean like more tasks, but like get more deep work and more intentional work accomplished. And then number 4 is to spend less money, save, and hit some financial goals. I need to reset in a lot of ways, and I need to downsize some of the gear I have. I've got so much gear, which I don't think I've ever bought something I didn't need, but I have a lot of things that I don't need right now that are just going down in value. So it'd make more sense to offload some of these things, and then down the road, if I have to reinvest in something, I can. So I hope this encourages you. This video is for me. It's for me to plant a flag and help me kind of keep a promise to myself. So that's why I'm sharing this with you. This could crash and burn at any moment. Try to be transparent with you all and tell you how it's going. So I'll try to check in with you tomorrow, hopefully, if I have something interesting to say. Consider joining the Patreon if you want to support me as a creator. And if you don't, that's totally fine. But just know that I'm trying to refocus some things, and so my digital habits are going to be changing a little bit. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Take care.